Dum-de-dum, the stream has begun. Da-dum-da-dum, the stream has begun. Back. This. I'm going to do my little thing where I wait for at least one person to show up in my little party. Because I think it's fun. You know what I should do is have like a countdown timer or something, like a video. I think this thing can show a video. How's my half cam going? Oh, there's me looking at things, looking at stuff, chilling right out. That's open. That's good. That's my to-do. Let's see, what if I click that? Well, that's interesting to see. Yeah, that's YouTube. Oh, right on. Well, thanks for joining me. Let me see what I can do here. I'm going to go into my typical view because my screen is much more interesting than my face is. Come on now. Hello, everybody. This is one I've just had written down that I wanted to get in my head because I've been meaning to write it down. I just didn't get to it yet. And so this is where we're going to start. Has anyone come up with a trick? This is Jeff Bridgeforth. To make the width of a figure element fit the content of a contained image, even when the fig caption has more width. I want the fig caption to wrap. Now I'd say it's a weird thing to say because it seems like how can that be hard or weird or whatever, but we'll see why it's hard or weird by first we'll make some demos of the problem. So we'll say demo of fig caption issues. Right. Let's get rid of all the default CSS. Let's get rid of the script because we don't need it. And we won't link it up. Let's keep the main element and we'll give ourselves some HTML to work with. That is the thing. So figure, that's what we're dealing with. It's a wrapping element around the two things. We're going to have an image. Let's grab an image right away. Images, photos, just whatever. Something horizontal though. I don't know why I'm being picky about this, but we're going to have to stare at it for a while. So I want to do it right. Copy URL. And we'll put it in there. And then the width will be what, 400. So it'll be, yeah, there's our image then. And we would have a fig caption as well. So this would be, you know, that we'd have to have, ideally we'd have proper alt text and we'd be like top down view of a book named Surf Life at an angle. Dude's shoes are blurry behind it, like they are on the floor where the book is on a coffee table, right? We describe what it's like, but the fig caption can just be like, oh, creepy. A Google device is yelling at me from another room. Whereas the fig caption can just be like, I don't know, look at my new book or something. Like they have different jobs in the world. But look at my new book is not the problem. First, let's do like a little more setup. Actually, let's just jump right into the problem and then we'll continue the setup. If we went lorem ipsum, ooh, why isn't lorem working? Lorem? There it goes. A really long fig caption. The fig caption is longer than the image is. So what we want to happen instead, like Jeff's original post on Blue Sky was, I want the fig caption to wrap. The width of a figure element fit the content of the contained image. So how many different ways can we accomplish this? What is at work here? What's going on? That kind of thing. Let's make our world look a little nicer first. So we'll say the HTML has a font of 100% system UI. Sure. We'll give ourselves the line height of champions. Sure. We will make the background of the page some kind of nice gray, so we know where the edges are, whereas the main, which we could say is at least as tall as the screen is, has a background of white. And I guess we're getting the vertical scroll bar because of the famous 8 pixels of margin. That could go away. And we could say that the main has a max inline size of whatever, 60 characters or something. Is that going to make it a bit smaller? Sure. And we'll say that the margin in the inline direction is auto. So it's centered, so it kind of resembles a website. It was my goal there. And then figure, is figure a default a block level element? I think that it is, but I kind of forget stuff like that sometimes. Yeah, it's a block level element. So we got that going for us. So we have a figure and it's got a border of, say, 2 pixels solid black. So we can see the edges of it. Okay. Why is it pushed in from the edges of the main? Is there inline styles on a figure that center it somehow? A figure, does it have auto margins? It has margin at the top and bottom of it, and then, ooh, look at it, as it automatically has inline start and inline end on the margins. That's why it's pushed out from the insides a little bit. That's kind of interesting. We'd probably want to center the figure though. I think that's pretty common, or at least we'd have a utility class to do it or something. Margin inline auto. Hi, Emmett. Thanks for joining. So that has wiped out the 40 pixels on either side, and now the black border is touching the edges of the thing. Again, what we're trying to do is get the fig caption to wrap at the width of the image. So my mind goes immediately to, well, this has an intrinsic size, the image does. So if we forced the figure to be like inline, is it inline size? We're just going crazy with the properties there. That is min content. It's not going to go any smaller than the image is. So like we could document this totally works mostly. So like that's what Jeff is asking. What is the trick to make the width of a figure element fit the content of the contained image, even when the fig caption has more width? So we've kind of done it. The problem is this is so isolated to, we're not using any kind of reset style sheet. There's no other styles at play here. So it's kind of fine. We can style it up to look a little nicer, but here's the main problem, is that almost every style sheet in the world has a max, I guess it would be width, but you know what? I almost fully want to just have my fingers at all times use logical properties, because I think if you just no-brainer it and do that, the benefits are strong. But on images specifically, it's like even in vertical writing modes and stuff, images are still width. You don't like turn an image in a different mode. So I like width still makes more sense. You do that. And as soon as you do that, it's screwed. So this is today's enemy. So what do we do about that instead? Because it's totally ruining the size of this thing. Well, we need to explore this a little more so that we feel like we're living in reality and doing the kind of correct things. For one thing, usually the advice is that we put width and height attributes on the image. Does that do anything? Let's look at the intrinsic size of it. It's 400 by 267. You see that here? That's how it kind of comes down from the source. 400 by 267, right? So width equals 400, height equals 267. I think you can 267. I think you can leave off the pixels on those, right? Kind of classic. We probably don't even need the quotes if we were being nasty. That's interesting how badly that screwed that up. This is highly recommended as it sets like an aspect ratio when the image is loading and it reserves the space for it properly. So you should probably do that on every image you have in the world. And now we've really screwed the pooch here. This is really not going to work. So this is probably like not the way to do it. Maybe. If that's not there, we're kind of fine, you know? So how can we explain that a little better? This works unless we do the common reset style sheet thing where we set a max width on images. So that's like a little bit more correct or a little bit better explanation of what's going on. There's other things we can do. We can just set a max inline size right on this thing. We could say this whole thing is only that big, so that's fine. So this is a potential design solution, but it's pretty, well, how would you describe that? It's like it's too specific. It's pretty, I don't know, narrow or something. Not narrow in a width sense, but it's like not everything is going to work in that way. What do we have to do to fix this, by the way? Do you set height auto on it or something? Why is the aspect ratio wrong? Because we're forcing... It's a little bit confusing. I mean, these are on here on purpose, but how do you force it to keep the correct aspect ratio? Do you just set height auto on it? And then it's just goes back to normal. Yeah, it's like I just thought that doing that was less desirable in today's world, but I think I'm just wrong. That's what you need. So this would be really common to see in a reset style sheet. Reset might not be the right word. I don't know what people call them these days, but kind of global styles that just permeate the whole project because you like always want them. And the issue with that is just to, I don't know if we should put an additional figure in there, if it's just interesting enough by itself, is that like if this width was something like 2000 pixels wide, and then we didn't set a, no, let's leave that. It's 2000 is what we want the intrinsic thing to be. So this becomes 2000. And so that's going to be fine. It's just going to get really high res or something all of a sudden. If we didn't have this reset stuff going on, how do we, we'll just comment out these two lines, I suppose. It's going to totally break out of this container. Ooh, it's not breaking out of that container. Oh, it's because we did this as well. It's just going to get enormous now. Why isn't it getting it enormous? Did I set the width too big that it doesn't even, that Unsplash just bails on the network request? That's weird. Aren't I telling you to be really big? The intrinsic side is 1200 now. And the rendered size is 400. And it's just because of this. I guess you'd have to match it. So let's go back to 2000. Well, can we just add zeros or something so the math is really easy? And this was 4000. I guess this would match reality. It's probably something that would like happen on a WordPress website or something where these are derived values from the intrinsic size of the image. Like that's bad. Like it's like a container blowout or something. Like we've known this forever, and that's why we set these properties in CSS to prevent that from ever happening. The width, an image should never break out. So you set max width 100% and you're golden. That's the situation here. So this is in every reset style sheet in the world, hence the figcaption issue at all. So let's back out of those weird changes though, because we're actually more interested in like small images, not enormous images. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for joining as usual in our little lonely stream. Wonderful. Okay, what's another way to handle this? Well, we can look at the thread. There was some stuff going on. I responded and came up with it at one time. One way that I've done it, I think I did this on my personal website when I just couldn't deal with it for a minute, was just to be like figcaption and then apply some special styles to it that would just kind of prevent this from happening. I think this is awkward. I think Jeff is right. You do want whatever is happening here, you want it to not do that essentially. If you inspect a fig caption, are those display block? They are too. I just like to check that because I think it's interesting. So we could say the max inline size of those is, I think I just was like, I don't know, some small size. Because stylistically, especially if there's more paragraphs of crap below it, and we could put a little padding on the main. So it kind of looks like an article or something. That's like, okay. I think fig captions also have a habit of, being chilled out a little bit and smaller, X small. I'm like a keywords guy now. Too small. Like, I think stylistically that's maybe okay. Would we padding out the whole figure too? We might as well make it look like reality. That's like not the worst fig caption style in the whole universe. But the only reason it's stopping right there is because we forced it to stop right there, which is just weird. It is like a weird way to solve it. So maybe I'll keep it. This is a strong, I don't want to say strong like good. This is a possible design decision, but it's not quite what we're going for. We mostly just want it to stop at the edge of the image. So again, this was a potential solution that was nice. Just saying the inline size gets smaller, but because of the stupid max width 100%, we screwed this thing up. So that's where we're at. And then Kevin jumped in. He said, I think with min content would work. Right. That's what we just were playing with. As long as the image doesn't have this on it. But you're like, what do you mean as long as the image? Of course it's going to have that. Of course we usually want that. But depending on where figures are being used, it's possible it's not required. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. But I think the risk of blowout is too high. I think we have to have it on there. And then Nils says switching to Flexbox should do it as well with a demo. That is working, but this is so minimal that I would worry that image max width 100% is going to dork it up. Yeah, it's going to be the same problem. So Flexbox, I don't think is going to do it. So what are the other possibilities that we have here? Is there anything else? Is there a way that we can get super clever about this? Can we? Unfortunately, I thought there was like a good kind of solution for this, and I think we're going to have to explore. All right, let's see what Andrew's idea is. You could force the image to be 100% width, which would be the width of the figure then, which is maybe better than max width. Then figure or figure's container is in control entirely of the sizing. It's not the image or image's fault to fix, right? So you'd have, I mean, I see what you're saying there, but to me, the problem with that is that you can't have this. You can't have this 400 pixel size image in there. And I want that. I want it to behave like the straight up width of this thing is 400 pixels. And then the whole thing of it centers, that's what I want. In the middle of a blog post, that's what I want, but I don't want to say with 400 pixels. I don't want to force every single fig caption in an entire blog post to be full width necessarily, but it's making me think of container units a little bit. What if the figure was a container? container. Is it just, no, it's container. And then we'll just say figure inline size. If it's a container, then it has container units, and 100 container, could you do like figure width is 100 CQI right there, and kind of like lock in what the figure width is with a variable? The problem is I think you don't get CQIs on the container. You would get CQIs like on the fig caption or something, but we can try it. Or we could just wrap the figure in another div, which is, I don't think would be out of the question. I think that would be interesting. But then could you say the fig caption is figure width? Could you just say inline size is var figure width? I think that's too cyclical or something. I don't think that's going to work. Because the figure's size is like fig caption. You don't even, it doesn't even, oh, it is, but it's grayed out. How come it's grayed out? Is it because the browser knows that like that's meaningless? There are like the container unit. Wouldn't 100 CQI like become, because it can't use units on the same element that you declare the container on, then the container becomes the entire width of the browser window because nothing else is contained. And then that figure caption should have actually been forced to be the width of the browser window, but instead it's grayed out. Did I just spell it wrong? Figure width? Or that it doesn't have a width on it. I kind of want to chase this down a little bit further. So .fig wrap or something. And then we have a .fig wrap, and that's where the container is. Would it not be grayed out then in DevTools? Because it's like, oh, those CQIs are meaningful now all of a sudden. No. I mean, it knows what it is. Maybe it's not actually gray. It's just, that's the syntax highlighting they use for it or something, because it knows what it's supposed to be. That's kind of interesting. So if we made the width of this 200 pixels or something super small, the fig caption is going to come along for the ride. You'd think it would have, because now 100 CQI, oh no, we'd put that up here and then it wouldn't be weird. Yeah, but it's just not accounting for the padding or something. I mean, it's not like I'm hot on setting the width to 200 pixels here. I just think it's an interesting thing to chase down a little bit. What do you call that kind of concept where you like trap a container unit from a higher level element to use at a lower level element? I think I don't even know if we 100% even need to do it. Ooh, there's somebody knocking at my door. Do I actually care to go check who it is? I think I don't care. Hi, Sue. Welcome to the stream. What we're trying to accomplish is this thing in that Jeff Bridgeport did like I guess a month ago or more, that I just wanted to write up and explain because I thought it was interesting, where he's talking about the width of a figure. We don't want this fig caption to be any wider than the image itself is. And we want to like document different ways that we could possibly solve that issue is the goal. And it'd be nice to do it in a way that we didn't have to get rid of what a reset style sheet is doing here. Because image max with 100% is like good, in my opinion. You like want that on like pretty much every website because you don't want an image being wider than its container and blowing it out. It's just awkward and bad design. And we have the aspect ratio being maintained. But I said this is today's enemy, because as soon as this is on the image, then we can't do nice tricks like this, which would normally solve the problem. Inline size min content is what we want, but let me get rid of all this CQI crap, because we're not going to do it. Yeah, mid content. Yeah, exactly, Sue, right? But this is the problem. You can't do that in this world. This is what happens. What's on the screen right now, that's what happens when those two particular properties happen. Now, if I were to get rid of these properties, you can see that it does indeed do exactly what we want it to do. That's the goal. That's the goal without getting rid of our beloved here. So what can we do? I mean, part of it is like literally just find a way to not do this. Like maybe generally images have this on it, but when it's within a fig caption, you could get rid of it. You could go, you know, images that happen to be children of figures, not fig captions, that, you know, is gone and you have more control. So you could say max width is, I don't know, unset, or what is that how you do it? That would work too, potentially. But then if we have this really giant image, which we did by going merp, merp, it's gonna be blowout city. And I don't want to see that either. I want to be like protected from that as a concept. And I'm feeling weird about it because I thought I had a solution in mind and now I can't come up with the solution. I mean, there's various solutions that all have compromises. Compromises being like, I don't know, just set some hard widths, like especially if you're in a CMS kind of environment, the CMS could be like, oh, I know that this is a 400 pixels, so I can use that information to set the parent element to 400 pixels as well. I mean, that's not out of the question. It kind of makes me wonder if you can use like has and ATTR and stuff. Like, could you write a selector? I mean, this would, I don't think it's actually possible, but you could be like, if figure has an image that had width on it, then its width would be, you know, but you can't grab the image now, or maybe you could. I mean, you can do this and then access its, you know, width is the attr of width, right? Is that how you use attr? And then you'd have to declare the type of width. And how do you do that again? Length or something? Do you need these ones? I forget how it works. Or you have to put the keyword type or something. But what you want is like that, and you want it to be that. You know what I mean? Like you just want to set the figures width based on something that you're getting from here. And I think with the cascade just doesn't allow that sort of thing, even with has. I'm breaking my brain a little bit on that. I think that's chasing the wrong tree kind of thing. Well, Jeff blogged some answers that he received. Here's the issue. I was working on a layout. That's the deal. Wanted it to wrap. That's the problem. Well done. Maybe I don't need to blog this. I'll just point to it. All right, overflow contained, sure, so that now it's not busting out of here, I guess. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure what was happening there, like a white space issue or something. So then he tried AI. Ooh, table caption. You make the figure a table and the fig caption a table caption. Oh, that is very strange. Well, we should play with that. Okay. So we're going to get rid of that, although that's kind of interesting too. Figure images could be exempt from max width situation, ? But we're not actually going to do it. We're going to do this table thing. So display table, don't see that every day. Why is it so narrow? probably this again. Right? Yes. Unfortunate. So this may not be what we're looking for, but maybe, or maybe we don't do that. Get bigger again. Okay, it's display table now. And simply the fig caption is that. Caption side bottom. And he does have max width 100% on there. Is this magically going to do it? Oh, that's nice. But it's outside of the border of the fig caption. Something tickles me about that concept. Because table captions are just a bizarre rendering thing in the world of the web. So it's just renders outside for some reason. That's really weird. That totally solves it though. This is a fascinating solution. And you could probably fix it by just removing this border and putting just left, right, and bottom borders on that if you needed it in there. I think it looks kind of cool though, for some reason. And it reads as a fig caption a little bit. You know, it makes me want to go like padding 1 rem, but maybe less so on the top. Padding. How does it start? Top, right, bottom, left. Cool. Don't hate it. Let's see what else is in the blog post. Wild. So here's another one that looks like a fix. That's the table caption one. But I wanted to see if others had solved this problem. So I asked, got it from me, but I didn't do very good. But I did give him a broken test case, apparently. Yeah, that was me being like, see, Kevin. See the problem? Nils said Flexbox, but it doesn't do it, right? Anna Tutor. This is what I've used before. Ooh, nice. Anna's almost surely going to do this correctly. Also, to fix the image max width problem and prevent overflow, the figure wrapper, whose size doesn't depend on the figure, can be made a container. Okay, well, that's interesting. I guess we better explore this. Almost want to not look at Pug. So it's a figure with an image inside it. There's nothing going on there. The body has a container on it. Whoa, weird. And the figure has the min content on it. Oh, and then the width has this kind of fanciness on it. Would you are you willing to apply that to every image? Like, that's not the same thing as max width 100%. But it is kind of cool. But then you need the container again. That is worth looking at for sure. We have an opportunity to put a container on it. We put the container on this fig wrap, but maybe let's not do that. See if we can get away with not having it contained there. And then the image, this is the reset style sheet, but it's okay that we do different things for images inside of our figure. And this is where we say, like, can we do a variation on, like, just max width C? 100 CQ I guess. This is where we're going all logical. Now we have to get rid of all this table weirdness. Just for a moment. Is this hard to look at? Okay, that didn't do it by itself, but it's because we didn't do exactly what Anna did. Let's just copy her exactly and see if that's interesting somehow. Where's the CQI part? Well, and let's not mess with it at all. So 400 minimum, maximum CQW. So it's not doing what we want it to do. It's not pulling in the width of the figure is the problem. Does that matter? Oh, it's because the whole thing's a grid with place cells. Is that how much of this matters? Does that matter? Does that matter? No, that was just for centering. So you need this. That's what we're missing. The min content has to come back. Ooh, please work. No. Why? You'd think the minimum content for that image would have been 400 pixels. Because if this is smaller than that, then it would maintain 400 pixels. The smallest it can possibly be is, unless this renders 0 or something. Is it a container problem? Do we have to put the container back up here? Yes, but then it's super tiny. What is happening here? What's the intrinsic size of this bad boy? It's because it's only 400 pixels, which is different than what we have going on. No, it's not. Ours is only 400 pixels as well. So is there just other crap that I have stuck around here? No. Why is this not 400 pixels wide? I thought it just has the feel of a good solution. Yeah, it's saying the image of this image is going to be 400 pixels wide, but clearly it's highly being ignored. It's rendering at 76 pixels wide, and why is that? Is there anything on this that is forcing it to be that narrow? Yeah, it's the max width thing. So in Anna's, if we were to say max width 100%, is just all blows up? Yeah, it does. So it's clever and cool, but like again, I'm very dedicated to this idea that reset style sheets are going to have this in it, and this is the enemy. This is today's enemy. So we're basically in table town unless we can discover a container unity thing that feels right. Or we're just cool with some like art direction where we're setting specific pixel values on stuff. So I guess I'll put the table one in place for now. And what I could do is like oh gosh. Now what did I do? That's good. That's good. Is it the container? Gotta turn that off. What's forcing it to be all small again? Isn't that what we want, or is that what we don't use that when we're in table town? Yeah, that's the case. That's kind of cool anyway. It's a little weird to look at. So that's the best solution we have so far. Especially if like I clearly lay out the requirements of this being on that has to be fought with. Is there any more to this blog post? Oh gosh, Tamani's involved too. This is the they called in the A team. Or my favorite min width 0 with 0 trick. Stack Overflow. Oh god, it's the same exact thing. Is this Tamani answering? Yes. Make the container inline block or shrink to fit, like one of these things. Then force the width of the text to be 0, so the width of the container is defined by the image. Then force the width again to be 100 using min width. Oh, I kind of love that. I kind of want multiple of these now. So we're going to get rid of the wrapper because we didn't ever use it in the end. I like how that goes red. Isn't that nice in our syntax highlighting in here? So we'll say this is the table solution. Fair enough. I need prettier. I get grumpy without prettier. There we go. Give it a little bit more space. That's the table solution. Fine. Now we're going to do another one, and we're going to call it the min-max solution, or the min-zero solution. But it's otherwise the same exact content. And then this figure is going to be figure.table solution. Let's have some generic styles, though. Like this stuff is not related to the solution. I've seen more and more people going like at layer, you know, demo setup, which is like kind of fun. It doesn't matter, but it's a way of like labeling a chunk of CSS. Well, I'm not going to get wrapped up in all that, but that's the idea. So we'll move. I don't know. This stuff is more like just stuff for the blog post than the demo, but but it's okay for now. That's the enemy. I'm going to put that at the top. And now I am going to get caught up in it. Layer reset, I guess. And because I'm calling it a reset style sheet, that can go in there. Save. Close reset. We're not using fig wrap. Table solution. Cool. This will nest inside the table solution because that feels appropriate because these styles only are relevant to that particular class, except for that the figcaption generic stuff, this stuff, belongs in the demo setup. Figcaption, those things. Bye-bye. All right, so now we have a fresh setup for figure.min0 solution. I guess we haven't even tried it yet, and I'm making it a first-class citizen in here, but hey, why not? I have a feeling Tamani, like just the description of it made sense to me, so I think that's worth it. So we got to inline block it. Display inline block. A little bit of danger in that being that if it was so narrow that something could wrap on the side of it. So maybe we'll fix that with a pseudo element or something. Make the container that, then force the width of the text to be 0. So width of the text is 0. Figcaption, we're forcing it to be 0. Inline size of it is 0, but then the min width of it is what? 100%. But now we have like the right or whatever to go to make the inline size of it min content, but that will now be based on the image and not the text is the theory. Oh no. Bleh. All right, we have to read this more closely or see the snippet. So the parent does inline block, the image is in there, and then we're doing these two things, which should make the parent only based on the image and not the text anymore is the theory. So if we run it, yeah, okay. All right. That seems to be doing it correctly in here. We just need to make sure it's right. Parent, can we make sure it's a figure? Does that matter? No. There's the image as display block. Does it have a max width on it though? Max width 100%. It's got to be there. Yes, it's fine. Phew. And there's description. We'll make that a figcaption. Just in case. And that has those two things on it. So it is behaving as it should behave. So ours has too many or too few styles on it or something. So the figure is display online block, inline size mid content, that it had that, right? No, it doesn't need it, potentially. That's the problem. Please. Yeah, there you go. Then how do you center it? You can't center display inline block, can you? It would have to be a parent element with like text align to get it centered, but that's it, isn't it? That is a lovely solution. So you do, this would be sloppy or whatever, but we could just wrap that in a div, and then could just say style equals text align center on it, and that would center it, right? Heck yeah, it would. Ooh, and then the whole thing is centered. See, then I don't know. We should not use inline styles. We should say class min0 solution wrap. Cheesy, but okay. I think I can just double click this, right? Boom, gets bigger. This would be text align start for inline property action. Hell yeah. And this would be, we have to write it. Oops, that's the table solution. We'll leave that alone. .min0 solution wrap is text align center. TA text align center. And it should be identical. Yeah, can we zoom this out? Merp. It's not only identical, but it actually wraps the freaking fig caption. I like it. I like it. All right, we didn't even finish the blog post yet. So Tamani for the win, probably the best solution if we were gonna evaluate these. But it's not like there's nothing. Inline block is a little weird, right? If we accidentally put XXX or CCC next to that figure, they're going to render right next to it. I mean, that's weird. It's not a block level element. So maybe we should fix that while we're in here and say like, and after is, how do you even do this? It's like that float trick, right? Is it break all or something? What's the float clearing trick? Modern float clearing CSS property. Clear both. That's the old school way. If you put clear both, but that's only with floats. That's not really what we're into. But I'm thinking of float clearing because there's some property. If you put a display block element after it, would that work? Content, maybe it didn't work because doesn't a pseudo element needs to have content? Now if you clear both, will it matter? It won't. But if you make it block level, will that clear before the CCC? It will not. Even if it has width and height. 10 pixel height, 10 pixel background red. Can we see that sucker? Where's it going to render then? Oh, way down there. I thought it would be, so it's after, but it's still within this. We need to render outside. So a pseudo element's probably not going to do the trick. But that's why, what's the thing that you can clear floats with now with no side effects? Clearing the float. It's not clear. I mean, it's a weird word. It's like format. It's like makes a new formatting context. CSS to make new formatting context. Display flow root. Is that what I'm thinking of? Overflow auto. Maybe it is. But on a pseudo element, it's probably not going to do it. But flow root's not going to work for us because we needed it to be inline. Let's try it though. Instead of inline block, could it be flow root? I think that's going to behave like block then and not work. Yeah. Is there inline flow root? There might be, or it might even be space separated. Oh my God. But we didn't get it because it's still in line, which that doesn't help us. I'm trying to get rid of that problem. Those CCCs down there is like, I feel like it's like a tiny weakness of the solution. Like this would be rare to do. You could just not do it, but it does not behave exactly the same as an inline block element does. And can't you put a space in this now? That's like the new cool way, is that display is actually a 2-property syntax. Ooh, apparently that doesn't work. Or it would be, maybe it's not. There is a 2-property display value. I just don't get it. I think you resign that where CCC is off limits, the wrap institutes the block layout. Ooh, I'm trying to understand what you're saying, Andrew. I think you resign that where CCC is off limits, the wrap reinstitutes the block layout. Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, off limits meaning like, just don't do this. And then it hits the div and the div is block level and the wraps. It's just like, it's tiny. It's not a big deal, but it's like, it is just slightly weird that it's not it's not 100% bulletproof because it's possible that other crap is inside there. I guess you could frame it like a strength too. I guess it means you could have 2 of them side by side with their own little fig captions. I mean, I guess we could, I don't know. It's worth chasing down for a minute. Like, is that a strength that you almost could set 2 of them side by side? I'm going to take this whole thing and not do it just as like a third solution or something. Then we'll have 2 of these figures in there. And they're going to be smaller. So we'll half these, 200 and 133. And this is 200 then, 200, 133. 200. Yeah, I mean, now they're side by side. So instead of me bitching and whining like it's a problem, it could be a strength, I guess. And that's literally what we were trying to accomplish, is having the wrap happen there. That is fascinating. All right, okay. We still haven't finished reading this blog post. As I mentioned in my answer, contain inline sign is also a good solution. It's one I would probably recommend in 2025. I don't know why I ever shared this CSS tip. It relies on the same trick as that. Oh my gosh, this blog post giveth. But yeah, okay, so it's inline block again. And then all you have to do is contain inline size on the fig caption. That means it doesn't contribute. Oh my gosh, that's even better. I'm hesitant to, or I kind of want to just scroll to the bottom in this blog post because this gets better and better as we go. What up? Okay. This is interesting. So now I'd just leave a comment in here and be like, same solution, but inline block has both benefits and problems. I guess that's the way to say it. It's good and bad. So now let's take another fig cap. Now that we're set up for multiple demos anyways, I'm going to grab this figure. Now this is making me want to abstract it into like nunchucks or something so I can just blast out the fig caption multiple times, but I'm not going to do it. So the min0 solution, we'll call this the container solution. Maybe I should put it at the top. That way we don't have to scroll down a bunch. Figure. Make this the first one. Save. And it has no, it's broken. Okay. If you're just joining us, the goal is an image. The figure around it needs to be sized based on the size of the image, and the fig caption can't bust out like that. It needs to wrap where the image wraps, which has been surprisingly weird and challenging. So now we have, well, this is solution 2, and I'll put this solution first because we put the HTML first. Figure container solution. And the idea was simply that the fig caption doesn't contribute, but it also required to be inline block, right? But let's do it without it just in case, because we're like CSS scientists. Container inline size. That doesn't do anything because figure is a block level element. It's just going to be as wide as it's going to be. So you have to do the inline block thing again. Display inline block. And that is not going to do it. Why didn't it do it? We've left that one behind. We've left this one behind. Block formatting context was nothing. Oh, it's just contain, not container. You need to contain your inline size, and that's going to snap into place, but it won't be centered, right? Ow, look. See, I told you inline block is weird. Now the next one, which is totally a different demo, just blast it up onto its line because inline block has issues. Fine, but we'll just do the same solution as we did with the other one where we just had a wrap. The wrap is going to be acceptable. Div dot, what do we call it? Contain solution. Solution wrap. And I want to call it contain, not container solution, because it doesn't use the container property. It uses the contain property. Oh, is that actually the problem? It's because there's another one right here. Classy. We'll just get rid of the second one. So I was complaining for no reason, apparently. Contain solution. Contain solution. Yeah, we chased down that after idea, but it renders inside the fig caption, not after it. So you can't break after it. Like it's not quite the right place. You want a pseudo element that's like after, or like after outside or something, but that doesn't exist as far as I know. So that worked, and our wrap will steal this same wrap situation up here, but we have to call it contain solution wrap. Which means that this has to be text align start as well. Is that the cleanest one? Probably so far, especially compared to the table one and all that. So that's nice. This is the weird table one where the caption renders outside, which is super weird, but kind of cool. This is something else. Oh, that's I don't even remember, the min 0 solution. And this is demonstrating, or is this the min 0 solution? What's the middle one? I've already forgotten everything. Well, that is the min 0 solution. We just did it twice, so we could put two of them next to each other to demonstrate that it's actually not a problem. I guess we better keep reading this blog post. There's nothing but treasure in here. Super chill answer. Stephanie Eccles on the case. Here's a little swap from display inline block to using inline size fit content. Every one is slightly better than before. If it doesn't use inline block, I'm going to freak out. Look at it doesn't. Oh my God. Stephanie Eccles is actually the GOAT here. Mother of pearl. Look at all this time we've spent. So we're going to do it first again, because obviously it's going to be attractive to me at least. This is weird. Sometimes prettier just stops prettifying. I think I just need to refresh the window, which really should have nothing to do with it, but it sometimes works. Now if I save it, yeah, okay. Pay no attention. So maybe we don't need a wrap either then if it's block. So I'm going to put this up here and call it the inline size solution. I was distraught at the beginning of this, thinking there wasn't going to be great solutions, and there totally is. Inline size solution. So we're going to get one at the top and it's going to be broken. The reason this is so small, by the way, is I have this zoomed out. That's how it normally looks. Cool. So let's start stealing stuff from Stephanie. We'll put it at the top. Figure.inline size solution. I had some other stuff we could do too. So inline size fit content. We were messing with min content, but fit content is different, and then no contribution. So it's like a parent of Tamani's. It's like a slightly better version than Tamani's. Ooh, why did that got weird? Then we need to center it because it's still display block, so it should be fine. And then we have to do the thing where we do figcaption where it doesn't contribute, quote unquote, contribute to the party, contain inline size. And that's just going to work, isn't it? It's display block still. Dude. So min content, nope, not happening. It's going to blast. Disaster. Fit content. Chef's kiss, beautiful. This, chef's kiss. So good. But we still have, notice the position of the scroll bar in this blog post. I can't imagine possibly doing better than this. But this rocks. This is really good. Fit content. Original inline block. Nope, we're doing fit content because then you still get margins and you don't get the weird inline block stuff. As you can, so it ends. It ends with Stephanie. Stephanie, you're the GOAT forever. Andy Bell, if it works, it's right. That's nice. Andy Bell, the chimes in at the end being like, these are all right. Little guru. Fantastic. It sounds like Jeff got his answer, and awesome. And Kevin Paul already did a video on it that I didn't see, but sick. That's cool. So like I guess if we recap a little bit, the coolest some of the different things we learned anyway is that this really is weird. Image max with 100% means that the kind of the intrinsic size of the image essentially is as wide as the container, and it screws up all kinds of layout stuff that it's just in ways that you wouldn't expect, perhaps. Inline size fit content, I can't say I understand perfectly, but we'll maybe save that for another screen. But it means that this all works, and that's an unbelievably perfect solution for what we set out to do. And that this is crucial to it. It's a way of saying, like, do not factor me in to intrinsic width calculations. Like, just don't do it, is basically what that's saying. I think that's literally its purpose too. I don't think there's probably a whole bunch of other uses for that. That's the kind of point of it, I think. And before that existed, another way to do it was this, which says, my inline size is 0, so in calculations, factor it in as if I don't exist, and then min width pushes it back out. So for whatever reason, that also tricked size calculations to behave in that same way. It's just we don't need it anymore because we have contain inline size. So this is like, I should just mention it in here. Next two lines are basically the same as contain inline size. I mean, I say basically the same with vigor, I guess, because this, you could say max with 90% or something, then you'd have a little bit more control with these two lines as you do with contain, but we don't care. We wanted the width of the fig caption to be the same. Oh, well, that was a more intense journey than I was expecting it to be. And now I feel like I'm almost further away of writing about it, because this is a great blog post. So if I wrote a blog post, it'd probably start out with like, whoa, this was Jeff's question and Jeff blogged it very well. So if I chime in on this thing, I would only want it to be more useful. So I'd probably put Stephanie's solution right up top and be like, this is it. This is the way that you should do it. Maybe we'll look at browser support a little bit to make sure that that is right. And then my goal was to make nice graphics for it. That's why earlier on Blue Sky, I was like, where's me? I was asking about squiggly, a squiggly font. Because I'm like a font that's just like, nah, that's not, it's like illegible, but it's just used in mockups. Because I was going to do some Figma diagrams of like the text stretching in places that we don't want it to be, just as a way not to be distracted by the actual text. And this one looks the coolest to me, like a font like that. So you can just type, and then it like reflows and works in all your design software and stuff. That just seems nice. I wanted one that was a little more like vertically squiggly than this, but this will work. Filler, pretty nice, and it's free by powermockup.com. Powermockup.com. I guess we should see what they do. Powerful mockups, I assume. I'm not sure I actually care that much, but I'll take your font. That's pretty cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. How long did we go today? Like an hour. We went a full hour. That's making me tired. So I guess I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks so much for showing up. I think these streams are much better, not just because having listeners is less lonely, but most of you are better at this than I am. So pretty useful having you all around. Take care. Be good.